What's up, everyone? So recently I uploaded a video of Trial of Ascension Hard 100. Now obviously it was fast forwarded, music, all that kind of stuff. Now I didn't put this out for just no reason, not to show off or just be like, yo, look, I cleared TOA Hard. I actually wanted to do this to just kind of introduce Trial of Ascension Hard mode and show you the team that I used. And that's actually pretty similar to the team that I used for all of Trial of Ascension 100. I actually used the exact same team all the way up until 100, stage 100. So I'm going to be doing, this is a two-part video. The first part is for basically more beginner level, like people that are starting to do TOA hard and they are interested in clearing it. You should at least be able to get around the 50s. This is actually the point you should be at before you start doing this type of team. This team is the manual team. In the next part, we'll go over the autoing team. So this one is basically a way that you can run it without a healer, with a healer, it doesn't matter, but it is basically the way that you can clear almost every single stage in Trial of Ascension Hard Mode. We'll stick to the 50s because this is where the runes start, or not the runes, but the stats start to get pretty, I guess, challenging for a sense. So if we just pick any stage, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it does matter because you don't want to pick immunity stages. You have to be very careful. Okay, so with chroma stages and stuff like that, this team probably wouldn't work. I was just testing out some stuff. So this is actually units. A lot of these units you can get pretty easily. Now my Beretta is not ruined very well, not 100% accuracy, none of that stuff. So you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. You don't need insane runes. I think I'm just using 5-star runes on all of these. It's super easy, guys, to run this type of team. So basically the whole idea behind it is to run a very speedy team that you can prevent the enemy from basically getting any turns. So all you have to do is just run some basic CC. So I could run Veramos for stunning. I've got Bernard to increase the attack bar. I got Spectra in there. I could even run Mav right here to reduce the cooldowns. Or I could run another form of CC. I could probably throw Tyrone in there. It doesn't matter. Now, the thing is, you got to make use of every type of CC monster you got. So I have Veramos unruined and Tyrone unruined. So I would use Verad, right? Verad is obviously super awesome, but a lot of people don't realize that in non-boss stages, Veramos can take his place. Veramos has a 3-turn stun. Now this 3-turn that stun is actually quite easy to get up. It's every 2 turns once you run Mav. So this is pretty, I mean, every other turn you're throwing stuns down with Mav, or at least almost every other turn, because he won't use his third skill. Mav won't use his third skill every time. You could use Thrain with Beretta. Thrain stuns when the enemy has dots on them. You can actually, in fact, you can run Vertihil as well instead of Bernard. You could probably run Orion. I prefer Bernard for that because it's a speed buff, but Orion would be good too. You can actually, I've heard a lot of good things about Woundhawk, and that's just because he stuns the enemy with the highest attack bar for 1 turn, so that helps you a lot because it's it's automatically targeting the person with the highest attack bar for that stun, which is super nice. That changes the whole RNG thing. It removes weakening effects, so it's basically a small cleanse. Covers 15% HP, and then the attack speed is increased, and a little bit of HP recovery. So that's good. Then you've got attacks all enemies 2 times with waves of water. Each attack has a 30% chance to decrease the target's attack speed for 2 turns. And I believe, I don't think I have one right now to look at it, but you can, in fact, I think you increase the harmful effect rate, and then it stuns if the attack speed is on the enemy, like the attack speed reduction, the speed debuff. You can actually stun them if it's already on there. So it's 2 hits. So even if it's not on there, you can stun a lot of the enemies, or you can use Spectra to stun them as well. Now you could use Hathor if you've got natural 5-star. Some of the natural 5-stars to help you do some of this stuff is like Hathor, Poseidon. In case you guys don't know who Hathor is, she's right down here. She actually has a lot of good use. You can use, where is he? Verad. Verad is quite useful for this stage, for these stages as well. And then you can actually use Jamair if you run some types of teams. It doesn't replace Mav. Mav is just absolutely amazing. So he doesn't replace Mav. So that's basically the whole thing of it. You can use bomb teams, but I don't have a bomb team to really show that. So I'll go ahead and run the team that I use, okay? We'll pick a random stage, 66, okay. So we pick a team here, and I won't do the whole thing. I'll just show you the first part. This is the team that I use. So don't think that this is not completely farmable, because you can actually trade this out for Veramos. You can trade Vertihill out for Bernard, all that type of stuff. If I had him ruined, I'd use him. But this is the team that I use, and I'll show you the basic look of it, of what you do. So you just want to get as much speed as possible, and you just keep putting on CC effects. If I stop getting violent products, come on. I want this in arena. So you put on some decreasing the attack speed. You can use the second skill for a little bit of damage. You put someone with dots. You want some dots. You could use Thrain. You could use Beretta. I like Beretta. If you use Thrain, I like to use Thrain with Beretta. Otherwise, you're not really going to get that third turn up in time to stun him, because most of the time, if it's on auto, he will use that third skill first and then use the dots. It's a little bit weird. Then you're going to want someone to do some stuns. You don't have to use... I won't use this third skill. How about that? To make it fair, because this is 3 turns, and it's not even a 100% chance. It's a 70% chance. Veramos is a 60% chance. So it's basically the same thing. So right now, pretend Verad is Veramos. I just don't have him ruined. You would want him on Violent, essentially, and you just notice here that there's stacking up dots, tons and tons of dots. You can use Beretta's second skill, and you just keep going like this. And as soon as a couple enemies get out of it, out of the whole stuns or stuff like that, you also want to make sure, of course, that you have attack speed increase of your own. Then you'll want to make sure that, Mav is also pretty essential too, because you want some of that provoke, right? So that lizard man's about to go. We can provoke him, and Mav heals himself too, so it's not a big deal. Then you keep putting on dots, and more dots. And that's basically it. And it works all the way to the very end. It's super, super convenient. You can keep using Spectra's third skill to slow him down. Anything to slow him down, really. If you're not going to use Spectra, I'd use something like Woundhawk or someone to slow him down. Even like Poseidon would work. But that's basically the gist of it. And you'll notice that there are a lot of wind monsters. You can provoke. You can increase your attack speed with Mav, everything. So that is a huge, huge way to clear through the team, and super easy. So I won't reiterate everything, but it's definitely has to deal with slowing down the enemy, increasing your own attack speed, and then laying down CC from any types of monsters you have for CC. And a lot of people tend to look at these and they're like, well, I don't have Verad, I don't have Hathor, I don't have Poseidon, I can't do these. Veramos has a 3-turn stun. You'll notice right there I didn't even use Verad's third skill. I actually used his second skill, which is practically the same exact thing with Veramos. Actually, I think Veramos is better, because it still is a stun, whereas this one's a freeze. The stun effect doesn't allow the enemy to get the cooldown. So every time you get a turn, you get a cooldown. But with stuns, the cooldown doesn't go down by 1. With freeze, it does. So actually, Veramos is a little bit better in that regard for the second skill. Also nice to have Veramos in there just to remove anything. So maybe they put on slowness if you're facing some like liches or like Fuko, and he puts slowness. You can actually remove that kind of stuff. It's actually super nice with that. If you need a healer, then you can use Belladon, or you can use like Basalt for a little bit of heal. Basalt can take the role of the CC, but the problem with that is it's definitely important to have some types of stuns, because if they all get turns in a row, that's when it starts getting really sketchy, and I don't think Basalt's heal is large enough to sustain that much damage, or at least that much consistent damage. I don't think Belladon can take the role of the person that's supposed to increase the attack bar, like Vertihill, Bernard, or even Orion. I don't think it's enough. I don't think Raccoonite is enough to take that role either, because it's 1 turn, and then it's only 1 monster getting that little bit of attack bar increase. So I don't think that's quite enough either. But if you guys find your own monsters, I'd definitely love to hear it down in the comment section below. The main idea that you guys should get out of this, it's not so much sustainability, but rather bringing in a ton of debuffs into the team, mainly slowness, attack break if you have it, dots, and then of course your own buffs to increase the speed that you get. So you're completely denying the enemy of turns and making sure that you just put down a little bit of continuous damage to basically wait them out. So you damage them and then you just get a ton of turns and you don't let them move. I hope this was helpful. I know a lot of people struggle with TOA hard, and this is basically how you can do it at pretty much a low level. Wound knock is a good uh, a good replacement if you don't have any of those 5 stars I mentioned. Also, it's good to note that Veramos does just as much as all those other ones do. Just you gotta learn how to use them in all of their own ways. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in part 2.